Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jordan. Okay, so it took me a couple extra days than I thought it was going to, but I finally highlighted a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna read this, kind of read the highlighted parts of it. It's called "On the Team." I know it's probably backwards for you guys. On the Team: Equal Opportunity for Transgender Student Athletes. So I got this from my athletic director at the local junior college, who's been like a real all-star working for me for as soon as she found out I was transgender, she was just like, we need to, make sure that this is like addressed. And so she's been talking to people from um, shit, one of the Santa something in Central California. Some more of the progressive cities, and more, they're all higher educated. Fuck, I can't think of where it's from though. Let's see, hold on. There's a lady here from this school, I think. I don't know. Whatever. So she found me this. She's gonna give it to all the coaches and administrators at my local junior college, and looking into having a transgender awareness as far as how the coaches are to if this comes up again, not just for me, but just all educators need to be aware. But it kind of goes over that in this report. So I'm just going to read some of the highlighted things, so you guys get the gist. You can probably find it online if you search that title or whatever. I'm sure it's a PDF somewhere. But anyways, about the report. The purpose of this report is to provide the guidance to high school and collegiate athletic programs about how to ensure transgender student athletes fair, respectful, and legal access to school sports. There was a think tank in 2009. The think tank participants included National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, National High School Federation, transgender student athletes themselves, and an impressive array of experts on transgender issues from the range of law, medicine, advocacy, and athletics. So it was basically a huge think tank of people that got together and tried to solve this problem. This needs to be addressed. Talks about the authors. Introduction. Alright. An increasing number of high school and college-age young people are identifying as transgender. These students challenge many parents and educators to rethink our understanding of gender and universally fixed at birth. Once we recognize that transgender young people are a part of school communities across the United States, educational leaders have a responsibility to ensure that these students have access to equal opportunities in all academic and extracurricular activities in a safe and respectful school environment. Stephanie Brill, Executive Director of Gender Spectrum, is quoted saying, "As it becomes common in medical procedure to allow these children to transition in childhood, athletic policies need to reflect this change in landscape of student athletes." Then down here it says, though the needs of transgender students in high school and college have received some attention in recent years, this issue has not been adequately addressed in context of athletics, which is where I kind of care. The first part of the report kind of defines what is transgender. I think we all kind of, if you're watching this video, you kind of have an idea of what that is, maybe more so than they even do. But second topic is, why must we address transgender issue in school athletic programs? It says, over the course of many years, schools have learned and continued to appreciate the value and necessity of accommodating the sport participation interests of students of color, girls, and women, students with disabilities, and lesbian, gay, and bisexual students. Additionally, as more states, localities, and schools add gender identity and expression to their non-discrimination policies, and as more courts hold that sex discrimination laws protect transgender people, transgender students and their parents are increasingly empowered to insist that athletic programs accommodate transgender students. Right? To respond to these realities, sports governing organizations and individual schools are well advised to proactively adopt policies that provide equal opportunities for transgender students to participate on school sports teams. Moreover, in the spirit of encouraging sports participation for all, it is the right thing to do. Kind of enunciated that wrong. But the spirit of encouraging sports participation for all is the right thing to do. The next point is why focus on high school and college athletics. Providing equal opportunities in all aspects of school programming is a core value in education. High school and college athletic programs are responsible for accounting responsible and accountable for reflecting the goals and values of the educational institutions of which they are a part. It follows that school athletic programs must reflect the value of equal opportunity in all policies and practices. Recognizing the need to address the participation of transgender athletes, a few leading international and professional sports governing organizations have developed policies based on over-stringent, invasive, and rigid medical requirements. These policies are not workable or advisable for high school and college athletes for a number of reasons. It cites as an example the 2004 International Olympic Committee, the IOC, developed a policy addressing the eligibility of transgender athletes to compete in IOC-sanctioned events. Seems progressive, seems good. Medical experts have identified serious flaws with the IOC policy, especially its requirement of genital reconstructive surgery, which lacks a well-founded medical or policy basis. Most transgender people, even as adults, do not have genital reconstructive surgery. Whether a transgender person has a genital reconstructive surgery has no bearing on their athletic ability. There's a quote down here from Eric Verlaine. He's like an enormous title. MD, PhD, Professor, Director of the Center of Gender-Based Biology. He knows his shit. Requiring sex reassignment surgery before allowing participation for the high school and collegiate athlete is medically unnecessary and not linked to competitive equity. There are additional reasons for high schools and colleges to create their own policies rather than adopt policies developed for adults. A core purpose of high school and college is to teach students how to participate and be good citizens in an increasingly diverse society and how to interact respectfully with others. It is also advisable that high school athletic programs adopt a different policy including transgender students than college athletics programs. High schools permit transgender athletes to play on teams consistent with their student gender identity without regard to whether the student has undertaken any medical treatment. It goes, at the high school level, the focus should be on full participation in athletics for all students. High school student athletes are still growing and developing physically, cognitively, and emotionally. And because high school age students are still growing and maturing, they present a broader range of physical characteristics than collegiate athletes do. So high school level doesn't even need you to have, you just have to have your desired gender and you should be able to compete at that level is what they're saying. So go get them. Jameson Green, this guy, Center of Excellence for Transgender Health. The World Professional Association for Transgender Health Board of Directors has stated that policies requiring surgery as a condition of identity recognition are not advisable as a matter of ethical health care. High schools and colleges should not require surgery for a student to compete in their affirmed gender. Alright, the next section of this is, should the participation of transgender student athletes on school teams raise concern about competitive equity? This really interested me. This is what I've been kind of fighting, people think, especially because I'm tall and kind of strong, that that it's because I was a guy that I'm good, and so that's what this section talks about. Some advocates for gender equality in high school and college sports are concerned that allowing transgender girls or women to compete on a women's team will take away opportunities for other girls and women, or that transgender girls or women will have competitive advantage over other non-transgender competitors. These concerns are based on three assumptions. 1. That the transgender girls and women are not real girls or women and therefore not deserving of an equal competitive opportunity. 2. That being born with a male body automatically gives a transgender girl or woman an unfair advantage when competing against non-transgender girls or women. And 3. That boys or men might be tempted to pretend to be transgender in order to compete in competition with girls or women. Says these assumptions are not well founded. Dead. So yeah, what was the first? I didn't even highlight anything about the first one about that we're not real girls. That's kind of bullshit, but I didn't even highlight anything. The concern that transgender girls or women who have gone through male puberty may have an unfair advantage due to growth in long bones, muscle mass, and strength that is triggered by testosterone. However, a growing number of transgender youth are undergoing medically guided hormone treatment prior to puberty, thus effectively neutralizing this concern. Also prescribing hormone blockers to protect children who clearly identify as the other gender and prevent unwanted secondary sex characteristics. Transgender girls who transition this way do not go through male puberty. So for you younger cats out there, like transitioning before you do this, then it doesn't even apply. In addition, even transgender girls who do not access hormone blockers or cross-gender hormones display a great deal of physical variation, just as there is a great deal of natural variation in physical size among non-transgender girls and boys. The assumption that all male-bodied people are taller, stronger, and more highly skilled in sport than all female-bodied people is not accurate. Dr. Nick Gorton of American Board of Emergency Medicine says transgender student athletes fall within the spectrum of physical traits found in athletes of their transition gender, allowing them to compete fairly and equitably. It is also important to know that any athletic advantages a transgender girl or woman arguably may have as a result of her prior testosterone levels dissipate after about 1 year of estrogen therapy. The assumption that a transgender girl or woman competing on a team would have a competitive advantage is not supported by evidence. The data available does not appear to suggest that transition athletes would compete at an advantage or disadvantage as compared with their physically born men or women. Also, just a side note, as it stands right now in I think the NCAA, if you have 1 year of hormone therapy and you can prove it, then you can play as at least for male to female. I think female to male, it's the second you start testosterone, you definitely can't compete with girls. I don't know, but 1 year hormone treatment and you're good. Educators in high schools and college athletics programs must develop thoughtful and informed policies that provide opportunities for students, including transgender students, to participate in sport. These policies must be based on sound medical science, which shows that male to female transgender athletes do not have any automatic advantage over other women and girls. That's pretty much all that I highlighted. It's good too because I'm almost at 13 minutes, but it's a really cool report. It goes on to talk about for the administrators. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Policy recommendations for including transgender students. Part 3 is best practices, recommendations for implementing transgender student athlete inclusion. Blah blah blah. There's definitely parts for for coaches. I just can't see. Yeah, but I didn't highlight that part. Sorry, but yeah, it's definitely good. If you want to find it and give it to a coach or give it to an administrator at your school or whatever, that would be the best thing to do. Again, it's called On the Team: Equal Opportunity for Transgender Student Athletes. The authors are Dr. Pat Griffin and Helen L. Carroll. If you can read it all backwards. Good shit. But yeah, sorry for the really long video. I hope it served as informative rather than just monotone reading of a shitty article or a boring article. I don't know, but I really was interested. I don't even like to read, and I was just really caught up in it, and that's probably because it really concerns me. So, but that's it. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll be making more videos like I said I would. Today's my last day of work, so yay. I'm probably just gonna sit and watch TV. Later.